Most marriages suck at unconditional love. Coming up next on Pastor Bob Daly. Well, sometimes marriage gets difficult. I see it all the time. I have a lot of pictures on my walls. I love pictures, and most of them are pictures of people, of friends, of people that are close to my heart. I love looking at them. And one of the pictures is actually an electronic frame that has digital pictures going all day long. I think I have 400 or 500 in there. And I love watching people, love praying for them as they go by, as the pictures flash by. And it's been kind of a cool thing. I've had this particular group of pictures in there for 9 years. And I was thinking this morning as I was preparing for this today, how many of the people in those pictures are no longer married or have parents that are no longer married. There's tons of them. And the pictures that I have are this happy couple doing well, feeling great about each other, and now they're divorced. Here's the question. Dear Pastor Bob, my wife is going through some crazy stuff. I have put up with it for over a year now. I want to get a divorce, but I'm afraid of rejection from my family. I just try to ignore her and keep my distance, but it's hard to live in the same house with her. What should I do? This is kind of typical of marriage these days. Things get difficult and we're out of there. And yet, that's not how relationships work. Let me tell all of you who are not married yet that you will have times like this in your marriage. You just will. Very few people escape this kind of hopeless feeling once in a while in a married situation. It's just the fact that you have two people becoming one, and sometimes they're becoming one willingly and sometimes kicking and screaming. It's difficult to live with another person all the time because all those things that you thought you had in common, you realize that there's a lot of things you don't. It doesn't mean that marriage isn't possible. It just means that during the tough times, you need unconditional love. The Bible tells us that God gives us his agape love. The Holy Spirit inside of us begins to use his love with other people. The fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, etc. Why is love first? Because it's the most important one. Yeah. And the love there that it's talking about is unconditional love. I love you because of you. I love you in spite of you. Yeah. When we make commitments with marriage, this is really what it's all about. I commit to love you, not to win the arguments, not to go through counseling and learning how to tolerate you. I'm committing to love you unconditionally. Now that takes a lot of nurturing. It takes saying it often to each other. It takes when those little things happen to not only solve the difficulty at hand, but to also solve the hurt that's caused by dysfunction. And when you can say, I love you, even though we're having a difficult time, I love you and I'm committed to you, that's what makes a marriage last. You say, Pastor Bob, I don't know any of those marriages. Well, I do. My parents will have been married this year. They'll be married 69 years. Long time. And I've seen that kind of love from them through the whole thing. That commitment, that, staying together, loving each other through, that tenderness, all of those things that are so important. And I know many more that are exactly like that. But love is a choice. And unconditional love is a choice. So I'm going to replace some of the pictures in my picture frame. I have to do that soon. Sometimes people come to visit me that are in the pictures with their ex. Some of them are actually remarried in that time. 9 years ago, they were, so in love with the first one, and now they're well, having some similar problems with the second one. Interesting, huh? When do we learn? Unconditional love, folks. It's what God gave us. It's what he asked us to use. It is not easy. And it's typically not easy. You know, when God says, love your enemies, well, not that your wife or your husband is your enemy, but if he tells you to love your enemy, then you certainly can figure out how to love your spouse. So divorce isn't a failure on your part or your spouse's part. It's a decision not to love unconditionally. It didn't just happen, it happened by degrees. You didn't just fall in love. You didn't nurture the love. You didn't just end up with a difficult spouse. You didn't nurture the relationship to keep it from becoming difficult. Now, I understand there are certain situations that may be above that, but generally what I'm saying is absolutely true. Anyway, unconditional love, use it. God bless you. Have a great day.